We're in the midst of a glut of spring games each and every Saturday during the month of April here at the Voice of College Football as we run them down for you. But Florida will have the spotlight all to itself in Gainesville on Thursday. We got David Waters here from Gators Breakdown to help us break it down.
Yeah, Mark.
David, what's going on?
Not much. A couple days away when we record this for Florida spring game. So, yeah, as you mentioned, most of them Saturday, but Florida decided to move theirs to Thursday. As you said, it's a busy. Every Saturday right now in April is busy. So Florida decided to. Billy Napier decided to move the Floridas off of that Saturday, and they'll have, as you said, the spotlight. And look, a lot of it's probably for recruiting purposes. If you're going to have recruits, top flight targets that are going to visit Florida, visit Alabama, visit Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, I believe, for Saturday as well. Well, you know what? Now you don't have to split the recruits up as much if you're Florida. If those guys are in driving distance, or you even have Friday off of school, as you know, a lot of people do because of the holiday. Then, well, now they can visit Florida on Thursday night and still go to Alabama, still go to Georgia, still go to those other schools. So, Mark, you have to believe it may not be ideal for most of the fan base. I don't think the crowd would be too big because it being a Thursday night. The crowd would have definitely been bigger on a Saturday, but the recruiting crowd could be bigger on Thursday night because of all those other games happening on Saturday.
Billy Napier making moves. That sounds like it makes sense to me. A lot of people, and I ran into this the last 2 weekends, and specifically last weekend with Kentucky, Auburn, Texas A&M. People think it's going to be on the SEC Network. There's a plus sign if you look at up. It's the SEC Network Plus, so you need one of those subscriptions, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was one of they were like, oh, now that it's on Thursday, maybe it'll be on SEC Network. Well, it's been planned that SEC Network shows baseball on Thursday nights. So they're not going to preempt baseball just because Florida changed their spring game on a Thursday. So it'll still be, like you said, Mark, SEC Network Plus. So like this, most people, right now are still able to tune in that way as well. But yeah, it'd be nice if it was on SEC Network. But as I said, we understand why Florida moved it.
I think that the ESPN making the decision that there are more football fans that are willing to go to great lengths than baseball and softball fans. So let's make it free for the baseball and softball people, and those football fans, they'll do whatever they can to see some football, even if it's in the spring. David Waters here from Gators Breakdown, talking Florida football with the spring game on Thursday night. David, this might be a little bit better question after Thursday, but based on everything that you can gather, what's a Billy Napier spring at Florida look like compared to Dan Mullen?
Mark, that's a good question. That's what I want to see as well. We haven't got to see a spring game in 2 years because Florida even decided not to hold one last year, even though a lot of other schools were last year. So it's been 2 years that, since the 2019 season, since we've had a spring game for Florida. So missing 2020, of course, decided not to have one last year. But Mark, just away from players, we want to see smart football from Florida because we didn't see that toward the end of 2020 and all of last year. We didn't see a very physical team, a very tough team in that same time frame. But I think those are things we want to see Thursday night as well. We've heard about how physical practice is and how much better tackling is, and how this team is really harping on the small details, being very detailed in spring practice. Well, we want to see that on display Thursday night because those are issues that held Florida back last year, lost so many games because of the small details that weren't taken care of. So now with the spotlight on, with the lights on in the stadium in front of some fans, fans want to see that translate. So it doesn't matter what Anthony Richardson does. It doesn't matter you stat-wise. It doesn't matter what the running backs do or how many tackles this guy has. It starts with just taking care of those basics first, Mark. Then everything else in my opinion, will take care of itself.
Is the Anthony Richardson, Jack Miller possible quarterback battle pretty much going as scheduled, and this is still going to be a decision for mid-August?
I'd pick Richardson right now, Mark. I don't know where Billy Napier would be on it from everything I've heard, from everything other reports have been out there. Anthony Richardson is the guy. He's taken most of the 1 reps. So we'll see what happens Thursday night. I don't know how far Thursday night will go into Billy Napier making a decision. And Mark, that's a question I asked. I was on a chat with Gators Breakdown Plus members this week, and it's like, hey, if Anthony Richardson comes out and shows that he can be the number 1 guy, if he shows that he is better than Jack Miller, does Billy Napier go ahead and name him the starter? Does he keep it by his wayside? Does he keep it, show the quote unquote gamesmanship of football? Does he keep it secret as long as possible? So it keeps Utah guessing for game one. It'd be interesting to see if Anthony Richardson goes out there Thursday night, puts a good performance together, how quickly Billy Napier names him the starter. Because, I mean, that's who I think it will be, Mark, given everything I've heard, given everything I've seen. And I think it would benefit, early on to go out and name a starter. Let the team know, all right, this is our guy. Rally around this guy. This is your quarterback. Hit off season going into that big game, game one versus Utah, letting the team know, all right, this is your leader. This is your quarterback, and getting together with the receivers, getting together with the offense, coming up this offseason. So if he goes out there and proves that he's number one, I think it would benefit Billy Napier to go ahead and name him the starter.
All right. I'll probably get all sorts of odd comments after I make this question, but Anthony Richardson, Emory Jones. Right now is the distinction that simply Emory Jones got his shot, and we saw him for a number of years in package situations, and then he got the full year shot in 2021, and Anthony Richardson hasn't, and that's why people are enamored with Anthony Richardson, because on the surface, and this is not breaking these players down to a T, you got two mobile guys that were high-end talents coming out of high school that have really good arms, but are kind of scattershot and are both pretty inaccurate guys. Is the Anthony Richardson ceiling that much higher?
Mark, yeah, I think so. You go back and look at stats for certain receivers, they were much better under Anthony Richardson last year than they were Emory Jones, even in limited snaps. He wasn't 100% last year. That was a given that he hurt the hamstring early in the season. Basically beat FSU on one leg on the last game of the season, decided to go ahead and have surgery after that, not play in the bowl game. So he was never 100% at any point of the season last year once he hurt that hamstring in the second game of the season versus USF. So, and he even admitted, he said, look, when I got my opportunities, there were times I tried to do too much because I knew my opportunities were limited. And that led to some interceptions. And a lot of those interceptions, Mark, too, were the right decision to be made. Just try to make too much happen with a defender being draped on him and still trying to throw the ball instead of taking the sack. It was the right decision. Ball fluttered, whatever, and gets picked off. Can he be better in that regard? Absolutely. He knows that, too. And there's a new offense coming in as well. And Billy Napier's offenses for the last few years at Louisiana have not produced a lot of turnovers. So, that's an emphasis. Look, every coach wants that, but it has been an emphasis for Billy Napier's offenses that has actually produced very little turnovers out there in the field. So, of course, Anthony Richardson's going to have to fix that part of his game there. So, Mark, I think a lot of Anthony Richardson, going back last year, we saw the potential, the biggest plays, the explosion for the offense was there with him at the quarterback position. Fix that decision-making a little bit, get better there. But I do think Billy Napier will put him in position to hopefully be able to lean on a run game a little bit that I think for Florida, they'll rely on a good bit, given Billy Napier's history, given what they have an experienced offensive line, given what they have back there in the running back room as well. So it won't be on Anthony Richardson's shoulders all the time, but I do think in this style of offense, it will kind of just make it a little bit easier for Anthony Richardson.
And not just the offensive line, the wide receivers obviously supporting him by being in the right place at the right time and running their routes correctly, reading zone coverages correctly, all those sorts of things. And of course, coming down with the football. So has anybody emerged? I know that that's a pretty large room of guys that are fighting for their roles.
Yeah, Mark, Justin Shorter has proven he's been the number one receiver coming into spring. Has proven that he's going to be the number one receiver coming out of the spring. And then behind him, you look at your most experienced wide receivers, Trent Whittemore, who started spring off injured, but finally came back where he was on the field a good bit. Xavier Henderson, who's been there and played a lot the last 2 seasons as well. So there's your starting 3 a good bit too. But Marcus Ben, Dejon Reynolds, who would be a newcomer for most people there this spring, has really been one young player that has kind of proven that he can be a reliable target there, and had a really good scrimmage with Anthony Richardson. It was the second team offense in Anthony Richardson. They were getting Jack Miller some first team reps, but Anthony Richardson in the second scrimmage led every drive that was a touchdown pass drive. All the touchdown pass drives were led by Anthony Richardson, but even one with the second team versus the first team defense, it was a touchdown pass from Anthony Richardson to Dejon Reynolds. So one young name to keep out there. And then also Marcus Burke has been banged up a bit this spring as well, but did show flashes with a couple of deep catches last year. He was having a good spring before he got dinged up a bit as well. So it's about 5 guys there, Mark. They're looking for some more depth. As I mentioned, they'll hit the transfer portal, I believe, for more of a playmaking receiver as well. We'll see if guys who are not getting the reps this spring also leave Florida at the same time. But some of it's been the familiar names, but also add Burke and Reynolds in there at the wide receiver position as well.
Gators Breakdown, folks. Get there on your favorite audio platform and also right here on YouTube. David, enjoy the game and appreciate you coming by.
Thanks, Mark.